All right. So thank you everyone again for joining. And it's going to be super exciting. Our guest is pumped up. She's ready. And before we proceed, I just want to make a brief introduction, all right, so that you know who our guest is, and then you can relate with her as the um, program goes. So let me just share my screen a little bit so I can just read a bio, bio to you all. So I believe everyone can see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll be reading a bio in a matter of moments now. So Maria A. Lloyd is an award-winning entrepreneur, author, copywriter, community advocate, and speaker based in the United States. Ms. Lloyd's entrepreneurial journey started in at a tender age of 5 when she sold puppies made out of Mardi Gras beads for 25 cents to her peers. In high school, she built a clientele selling CDs containing chart-topping songs. In college, she became a freelance copywriter, writing copy for biographies, websites, legal documents, and academic papers. In 2015, she launched a copywriting firm, Management 24. And okay, let me just draw it. Okay, Management 24, specializing in writing email copy for founder-led brands in the entrepreneurship and financial literacy sectors. In addition to providing email copy for clients, Ms. Lloyd also became trained in marketing automation and has been an Entreport certified expert since 2017 and a many chance agency partner since 2019. In 2021, Ms. Lloyd released the first book titled Words Are Wealth, A Beginner's Guide to Writing Profitable Copy for Email Marketing and Facebook Ads, which she describes as a mind dump of a profitable copywriting techniques that she has quietly implemented for nearly 20 years. The book feature real-life examples of copy Ms. Lloyd has written for email and Facebook, and it's also provides a list of the top performing subject lines that readers are encouraged to use for their own email marketing efforts. Ms. Lloyd advocates for the community through the Mobile Area Black Chamber of Commerce in, did I get it right? Okay, commerce in Mobile, Alabama. Oh, I got it right. Where she's recognized as board emeritus and served as vice chair of the board of directors from 2019 to 2022. In June 2021, the Alabama State Black Chamber of Commerce presented her with the Outstanding Member Award to acknowledge a commitment to the chamber. Ms. Lloyd is recognized as a life alum, that should be short form of alumni, of the alma mater and was appointed by the president of the Alumni Association to serve as the organization's chair of the membership committee in 2020. Ms. Lloyd holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Mass Media Arts from Clark and Lala University. When she's not working, she enjoys reading, writing, cooking, stargazing, and global trotting. Ladies and gentlemen, with the deepest and most heartfelt reverence to my copy cousin in the industry, let's make welcome Miss Maria Lloyd. You can clap if you want to. Again.
Thank you so much, Gideon. I really appreciate it. And I want to let you know, first and foremost, again, thank you for that. And it doesn't show that I can share my screen. So I need to be able to share.
I can, probably I can do that just a few seconds.
Okay, no worries. I see the hand claps. So thank you all so very much. While we're waiting for me to get presentation authority, I want to ask you to please message your friends, your family, tell them to get in the room. They need to get in the room. If they want to get this money this year, get them in the room ASAP, okay? Now, also, if you can, and if you're willing to, please turn on your camera. When we do these type of presentations, it just makes it a little more personable when your camera is turned on. So I want to see some pretty white teeth and some beautiful brown faces, all right? If you will, please turn on your camera so that way we can just get a little more connected And again, thank you all so much for being here. You have no idea how excited I am about this. I promise you it's worth your time. And I'm really looking forward to us engaging. So I'm assuming I have presentation privileges now. So I'm going to jump into it.
Yes,
Okay,
please. You can proceed to share screen now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So can you see my screen? Let me go back to you all. Can you see my screen? I just want you to put a thumbs up if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up. Okay, I see some thumbs. All right, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so today we are talking about how to land rich American clients in 2024. And once again, as my dear copy cousin colleague Gideon said, my name is Maria Lloyd. I'm a copywriting expert, email marketing expert, whatever you want to call me, whichever one is totally fine. But I've been in this industry, it will be 20 years as of August of this year. I started as a copywriter, freelance copywriter, when I was in college, my freshman year, which was 2004. So literally August of this year will make 20 years that I've been doing this, which makes me feel really, really old, to be honest. Now, before we dive into the topic of today, or today's topic rather, topic of a conversation today, I just want to say thank you. In the words of my favorite rapper, Jay-Z, AKA Beyonce's boo, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're far too kind. And you could have been anywhere in the world, literally anywhere in the world today, but you're here with me. I do not take that for granted. I am so excited about what we're discussing today. I think that this is literally going to change people's lives in a very meaningful way. So again, thank you for being here. Of course, to my dear colleague and copy cousin Gideon, I want to thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the awesome introduction, and just thank you for organizing this. So I'm going to ask you all to do me another favor. Will you please drop some hand claps in the chat for Gideon, because he organized this. He got over 300 people to register for this event. That is a big deal. So you guys, please give it up for Gideon. Give him some hand claps. I see him. I see him. Thank y'all so much for that. He truly deserves it because he's worked really hard. And I just think that this affirms some of the things that we're talking about today as it relates to getting this money, and especially from American clients. So one thing I want to do is invite you all, if you want to get this slide presentation, and I'll be honest, you want to get this slide presentation, you definitely want the slide presentation. I'm inviting you to go ahead and scan the barcode. Now, if you can't scan the barcode, I'm actually copying the link. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I want you to fill out the form so that you can get the slide presentation, okay? So I'm just putting it in the chat. If you want the slide presentation, then click here. All right. And again, you want this. You want this. Okay. So go ahead, fill out the form, scan it, click on the link in the chat. Make sure you get this presentation. You want this presentation. Okay. So I'm going to wait just a couple of seconds. And after you have filled out the form to get the presentation, I want you to throw up a thumbs up, please. So that way I'll know that I can move forward. So when I start seeing more thumbs up, then I'll move forward. So I'm just waiting. I haven't seen any thumbs up yet. Okay, here goes our first one. All right. All right. I see Gideon. Okay. Okay. I'm seeing more. Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So I think it's safe to say move forward. All right. So let me see. Gideon, can you give me some sort of like administrative privileges so I can, if I need to, mute people?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. And I see some people in the queue as well.
Yeah, they've been added.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Okay. All right, excellent. So let's proceed. Thank you all so much for those of you who put up the thumbs so I can know that you've gotten the presentation. And so that's good. So one thing I want to do, I want to do a quick vibe check. All right. I want to do a quick vibe check. I want to know who's in the room. Okay. So this is my way of figuring out who am I talking to today. Now, I know that about 100 of you filled out the survey that Gideon sent to you. And he asked you, what did you want to get from this presentation and all that? And I had an opportunity to read through those responses, okay? But before we dive into that, I want to do a quick vibe check. So I understand everybody on the call is not from Nigeria. I understand that, right? But I just have a quick question. Japa or stay in Niger? If you want to Japa, I want you to write the word Japa in the chat. If you want to stay in Niger, I want you to write the word stay. All right. So Japa, you leaving, stay, you staying in Niger. And I'll let you know why I'm asking this question. Okay, so I see a lot of Japa, stay. Okay, I see some stays. I see Japa, 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 stay. Okay, okay. Wow, so far I feel like it's almost 50-50 in terms of the number of people that want to Japa and the people that stay. Okay, all right, cool. All right, excellent. So I'm seeing more stays now. Japa, stay. Okay, all right. Keep dropping that. Japa or stay. Japa or stay. And if you're not in Niger, basically what I'm asking is, do you want to leave your country? Do you want to leave your country and move to the UK, Canada, the US, or somewhere else in the world? Do you want to leave your country and move to the US, UK, Canada, or somewhere else in the world? Okay, so that's what I mean. If you're not from Niger and you're not familiar with the term Japa, that's what I'm asking my people. Do you want to Japa, leave Niger, or do you want to stay? And so far as I'm looking at the responses in the chat, it actually looks like most people want to stay, which is amazing. So let me explain to you why I even asked that question, right? So first of all, there's no judgment. Whether you want to leave or you want to stay in Niger and build there, there's absolutely no judgment whatsoever. Either way, what we're talking about today is going to ensure that you're on a path to financial sovereignty, right? And when I say financial sovereignty, what I mean is you will be able to have money so that you can make the decision to either stay where you are and build where you are, wherever you are in the world, whether it's Niger, Ghana, US, Canada, wherever you are. You can make that money and stay there and build, or you can make that money, take it and move somewhere else. Even if you just move temporarily, you move somewhere else, okay? So that's why I asked the question. There is no wrong answer. There is no right answer. It's literally just your lived experience and where you are in your life. So no judgment, okay? So really quickly, let's look at some numbers. I'm really big on numbers. Why US clients, right? Why are we talking about getting rich US clients? So let's go over 5 fast facts. Number one, 86% of US SMBs, and SMBs is an acronym for small to medium-sized businesses, are hiring internationally to manage cost, okay? Whenever I do these presentations, I always put the source of my information at the bottom. So if you have already requested this slide, you will receive this and you'll be able to click and read the articles for yourself. So that's number one. 86% of United States small to medium-sized businesses are hiring internationally to manage cost. So what's happening over here is that businesses are looking to outsource work because, I mean, hiring in the US is quite expensive. And because of the difference in the currency, it makes sense for those who are trying to save money and scale. It makes sense to hire internationally. So that is one data point I want to share with you. Another one is 78% of US business leaders said that they are more likely to hire freelancers rather than full-time employees while economic conditions remain uncertain. So this is very important to know, because if you've been, tuning into global news and things like that, the US is predicted to have a pretty rocky road this year. Last year was a little shaky, and people are still, a lot of, bank presidents, a lot of people in the financial sector are saying that the US is expected to have another rocky year, possibly another recession, right? So with that being said, this is a great opportunity for those of you who are freelance creatives, whether you're a copywriter, whether you are a graphic designer, whether you are a website designer. This is a great opportunity for you to swoop in and grab some of that business because they're already actively looking for freelancers, okay? Now, another data point, 75% of US-based small to medium-sized businesses plan to increase their international employee headcount. So people are looking, business owners are looking to increase their international presence by hiring international team members, okay? So again, this is a great opportunity for you to position yourself as a subject matter expert, as someone who can get the job done at a pretty affordable or reasonable rate. And it's just a great opportunity for you to penetrate that market. And then before we get to the last one, nearly 60% of the world's central bank's foreign exchange reserves are invested in dollar denominated assets. Now, that's just a very fancy way of saying that the US dollar is essentially the global currency. Most most of the world's central banks are leaning on USD denominated assets. Okay. So I think that's important to share because again, the question was posed, why the US? Why do we want to target US clients? Well, this is one good reason to do that. It is essentially considered a global currency. Okay. The USD is considered to be a strong currency. Now it's been dipping over the past couple of years. It's been dipping a bit, but still, all in all, it is considered a global currency. It's pretty strong. Now, with that being said, I know that there have been some economic challenges that have plagued Niger as of recent. So what I did is I looked at the foreign exchange rate. So as of today, when I looked at this earlier this morning, one US dollar was equal to 956.72 or 726 naira. Okay. And if we reverse that, one naira is equal to 0.00104 USD. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this is because I want us to understand what this means. And this goes back to when me asking, do you want to Japa or stay in Niger? Because the earning potential for you as someone who is outside of the US is tremendous, right? And what I'm looking at here when I bring up this exchange rate is I'm looking at the fact that for the US based businesses, this is a win for them, obviously, because they can pay an amount of money for your talent that they cannot pay US citizens because we cannot survive off of the amount that they would want to pay. And then the other side of this, I'm looking at for you, you're able to earn a very great living as a result of the USD's strong backing, right? So this is a really great opportunity, as I said earlier, when I talked about financial sovereignty, this is a great opportunity for you to literally build wealth. Okay. So I see someone asked if the link can be shared again. Sure, I just put it back in the chat for you. And hi, Ramon. Happy to. Okay, so Ramon asked me if I could be more audible. Sure. Could you all let me know if I sound a little better now? Could you give me a thumbs up so I can know that I sound a little better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're perfectly.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. All right. All right. So thank you for that. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's talk about where are U.S. businesses hiring foreign freelancers, right? I think this is very important. When I looked at you all's responses to the survey that was sent out, I noticed that most of you were saying, I don't know where to find U.S. clients, right? Where do I find them? And what I'm going to share in these next couple of slides, to be honest with you, I think is going to sound pretty obvious, but I'm going to tie it all in as we go through the rest of this presentation. You'll understand why I brought these two entities up, okay? So the first one, Exhibit A, Fiverr. Okay, U.S. buyers alone are responsible for 53.14% of Fiverr's annual revenue. In 2022, U.S. buyers purchased $100.7 million in services. So again, 53% of that money was spent by U.S. clients or buyers, all right? So there are US-based companies or individuals, small to medium-sized business owners who are on Fiverr actively looking to hire foreign talent, okay? So Fiverr is one resource. I want to see by a show of a thumbs up, are you on Fiverr? If you have a profile set up on Fiverr, please go ahead and put a thumbs up in the chat or do the thumbs up. Okay, I see some thumbs. Okay. Okay, so that's really good. That's excellent. Excellent. Okay. All right. And if you're not on there, that's okay. Maybe after today, you will feel a bit more motivated to get on there. But I just wanted to get a sense of who's on there already. So I do see some thumbs. Excellent. Congratulations. All right. So Exhibit B, of course, Upwork. US clients made up approximately 68% of Upwork's 2022 $4.1 billion in gross services volume, right? So again, as you can see, the majority of the people spending the money on these platforms are US based customers. Okay. So I can't see who's talking, but somebody's phone or device is not muted. And I was trying to see if there's a way for me to mute you. So again, this presents an amazing opportunity for you as a freelancer, because now you know that you can find these US based companies. More than likely, you will be more, it's more likely that you will get hired by a US based company on one of these platforms than any other company or any other country, companies that are based in other countries. Sorry. So let me see once again by a show of thumbs up if you are on Upwork. Do you have a profile on Upwork? I do see some thumbs. Okay, wow, I see a lot more this time. I see Endurance said that there are issues signing up with the link. Could you describe what the issues are? All right, so I see a lot more thumbs up as it relates to Upwork. Okay, wow, congratulations. I'm so happy to know that so many of you are already on Upwork. So that's really good. Okay, so moving along. So I've told you, where to find the US clients. We've talked through the five fast facts about why you even want US clients. But I know at the end of the day, y'all are not here for all of that, right? At the end of the day, you are here. Okay, it says processing for minutes. Okay, interesting. Okay, thank you all for explaining to me what's going on with the link. The only thing I can imagine is maybe the internet connection, but I will double check and see if somebody is presenting. Who's presenting?
Who's presenting, please?
I have no idea. Oh, Danvik? I hope I said that correctly.
All right, that must have been a mistake.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to, oh, okay, I'm still sharing too. Okay, for some reason now I can't see my screen. It just switched up everything. All right, well, it's fine. All right, well, as long as you all can see my screen. So let me go back to the people saying that they're having some issues with the link. Could you try to hit refresh and try it again? The only thing I can imagine is that perhaps there's like a connection situation. Oh, Paul said he can't see my screen. Okay,
yeah, we can see your screen, please.
You said you can?
We can't.
Oh, cannot. Okay. Okay, let me try this again.
All right.
Let's see what happened. Okay, there we are. Cool. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So, perfect. I see some thumbs up. I see yes, yes. Okay, excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, thank you so much. So, again, the question remains, how can you land rich American clients? That's why you're here. So I want you to pay very close attention because I'm literally going to give you the blueprint, okay? All right, number one, the first thing you want to do is identify relevant associations in your niche. Now, this is very important. And to be honest with you, this is where I screwed up in my career, right? I did not have a niche. So I have always operated as a generalist, which means that if somebody needed copy, if somebody needed email marketing, they knew, oh, well, she does this. But I was never known for any specific industry. Okay. So because of that, I have been able to, or I've not been able to capitalize on being an expert in one niche. Now I'm an expert in certain skills, right? I'm an expert copywriter. I'm an expert in CRM marketing automation. I'm an expert in email marketing. I'm an expert in certain skills, but it would be even better if I were to be like, I'm an expert in copywriting for law firms. Okay. That just hits a little different. That's where you get the money. And I actually have a saying, I always say, the riches are in the niches, the wealth is in everything else. So what you want to do is focus on a niche. And once you identify your niche, then you want to select relevant associations in your niche. Okay. So if your target audience is in the fitness space, you want to find all the associations, all of the organizations that work with fitness individuals, right? Or fitness organizations. If your niche is in the hair care space, you want to identify associations and or organizations that support businesses in the hair care space. Okay. If you are in the legal space, you want to identify or find the associations for attorneys in that space. So in the US, we have the National Bar Association. That's the organization that supports attorneys. I know that there's something very similar in Nigeria because I looked it up. So if you're targeting attorneys, you need to make sure that you are getting aligned with these particular associations. So that way you can reach out to them and see if you can offer some services, some training, some lectures, or something of that nature to help their members. Because a lot of these organizations are membership based, which means they make their money off of getting people to pay an annual or a monthly or a quarterly fee. So they have an interest in trying to provide their members with a great experience. That's where you come in and say, hey, this is what I do. I work for attorneys. I am a copywriter for attorneys. I'm a web designer for attorneys. I'm a graphic artist for attorneys. I would like to come in and host a 30 to 60-minute workshop for free, teaching your attorneys how to optimize their homepage for clients, how to write better emails, right? This is where you come in as a subject matter expert in that niche, and you reach out to that organization and you ask them if you can be a part of any of their trainings or lectures or conferences, because all of these organizations have some sort of event. And if they don't, that's even better. You can present it to them as an opportunity. All right. So that's the first thing. You want to identify relevant associations in your niche. Next thing you want to do is identify, excuse me, I have a cold, so I may cough from time to time. The next thing you want to do is identify how you can quickly add value to their business, right? So basically, if you have something that you could do very quickly, let's say that there's some sort of website audit that you can do, takes you no more than 20 minutes. You want to make sure that you're able to do something very quick that can add value, right? So I'll give you an example that just occurred with me yesterday, actually. I friended somebody on LinkedIn, and within 24 hours, he sent me a screenshot breaking down how I could optimize my YouTube channel, right? Very helpful. I was impressed. I was like, okay, you have my attention now, right? Because he provided value in that correspondence. So you want to do the same thing, something that is really quick, that doesn't take a ton of your time, and you're not giving away all your expertise. You want to think through what is something that you could do very quickly to add value to your prospect's business. Now, it may not be an audit. It may just be joining some online communities on Facebook, for example, and just paying attention to the conversations that are happening and then chiming in with your expertise to share some insights. So it may not be an audit. It may not be something that you need to deliver to the prospect. It may just be you getting in these social media groups and commenting on posts that you know where you can add some value. And you have to be careful with that, because a lot of these groups, they don't allow you to sell your services. So you don't want to share some insights and then be like, hey, by the way, you can email me here if you want to work with me. Just share the information, just share it, and then say something to the effect, if you have more questions, feel free to contact me, right? That's how you do that. So you don't want to pitch yourself in these groups unless you have permission to do it. You just want to share the information, make sure you're adding value to the conversation, and then offer, if you need any additional help, feel free to DM me, and leave it at that. Okay. So that's how you can also land rich American clients. Jump in some of these online communities and connect with these people, listen to some of the challenges that they're having, and make sure that you add some value. Number 3, brag on yourself. Now, I know that, sometimes culturally there is pressure to be humble, right? To not boast, to not brag, to not make it seem like you're all that, like you're full of yourself. But I'm going to tell you, as a professional, as a subject matter expert, right? You need to brag on yourself from time to time. You need to be confident, right? There is a thin line between arrogance and confidence. I'm asking you to be confident. I'm not asking you to be arrogant. Just be confident. So show people what you've done for others in their industry, right? If you've written some bomb email copy, let these people know, hey, by the way, I wrote this email campaign for this law firm, and as a result, they were able to seal a $20 million lawsuit settlement case, right? Brag on yourself. That is the chance. That is your chance to really talk yourself up and make people feel comfortable about working with you. So make sure your portfolio is updated. Whatever work you're doing, you don't have to tell people who the client is necessarily, unless you've asked the client if it's okay to share their information, which I would recommend doing. Please ask your clients if you can share their information, and share those relevant wins with your new prospects. Let them know what you've done for other people. So that way they can visualize in their mind what you can do for them. All right. Number 4, make it easy for them to pay you for your services. Now, no fault of your own, right? No fault of your own. For whatever reason, I understand that there are some challenges when it comes to getting paid when you live in Nigeria, for example, right? No fault of your own, but you got to figure this part out. I have been very fortunate to work with several Nigerian vendors, and I hope one of them is on the call, actually. And in fact, the gentleman that designed my book cover is literally from Niger. I hope he's here because he registered. Okay. So my point is, hi, you are here. Oh my gosh. Yay. I'm so happy to see you. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. So my point is, make sure you make it easy for your American client to pay you. So use Payoneer. I don't know if Stripe is available in Nigeria. I didn't get an opportunity to look into that. Does anybody know if Stripe is available to you all in Niger? I'm not sure. But
Stripe is not available to
it's not. Okay.
Nigerians.
Wow. Okay. That's ridiculous, man. It's no fault of your own. It's so unfortunate how discriminatory these financial institutions are. So my suggestion is to look into Payoneer. Use that. It's pretty simple. Okay, great. Okay, so Sadiq, you said it's a lot of alternatives now. So look into some of these alternatives so that way it's easy for your client to pay you, okay? Because when I worked with another Nigerian-based vendor, this was some years ago. This was before the book was even published. We had so many challenges with getting him paid, and we ended up using Bitcoin, which was fine at the time, but then sometimes that we ran into issues there because the gas prices were crazy. So, I mean, make it easy, okay? Use Payoneer or whatever you got to do. Just make it easy, because when it's time to get paid, the last thing you want is somebody to be like, oh, well, I tried to pay you, but it keeps rejecting my card. Or, I'm trying to pay you with Bitcoin, but the gas fees are high. So now it's eating into your profit. And that's what happened. Like I said, when I worked with the other brother, he lost so much money because I'm like, look, you charge me this amount. I'm paying you in Bitcoin. Now you're losing money in gas fees. I'm not paying the gas fees too. Like, that's not, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about that. So it was a very frustrating and very unfortunate situation between me and him. But that's why I'm encouraging you. please look into this now. Before you get started, make it easy to get paid, right? Make it easy. Now, next one, establish authentic relationships with American creative professionals, right? So, like Gideon reached out to me. We have been connected on social media now for several months. I would say probably at least, 6 months, Gideon? And, he comments on some of my stuff. I've commented on some of his posts. He likes some of my posts. I like some of his posts. Establish a rapport. That's how we got here today, because he established a rapport. We established a rapport, right? And the reason why I'm saying that this is important, because your American creative colleagues can then refer business to you, or they can bring you in under their company and pay you based on what they're getting paid by the client. So it doesn't hurt. Like, to be honest with you, collaboration is key. I'm really big on collaboration, right? You don't have to do this by yourself. I don't know why people think in order to become wealthy, you got to do it alone. Absolutely not. If you want this money, you got to find some good partners. Get you some good partners on your team. I promise you, everybody's going to eat. So I want you to think about who are some people in your network, or even some people who aren't in your network yet, that you want to connect with and you want to partner with. Write their names down and be serious about connecting with these people, because I'm telling you, the wealth is going to be in working with good partners, right? Not trying to do it all on your own. So really, really think through this. And I do have a bonus, because I said I was going to do 5, but I think that this bonus is worth mentioning. And that is, don't ignore the potential in your backyard. Now, I know this is a bit, contrary to what we're talking about, right? We're talking about how to land rich American clients. And here I am encouraging you, don't ignore the potential in your backyard. Here's why I'm saying this. This is not the first, nor will it be the last webinar organized about how to land rich American clients. The US is an extremely competitive market, right? It doesn't mean that you cannot compete. I'm actually encouraging you to compete. But I want you to understand, everybody wants rich American clients. Everybody does. Hell, even Americans want rich American clients, right? Everybody wants rich American clients. And I know the landscape in Nigeria right now is a bit rocky, but I promise you it will not last forever. This is a great opportunity for you as a creative professional to start building relationships with people and entities in your own backyard, so that you can dominate when the economy strengthens. And I know it's going to strengthen. I know it is. If you just look at the history of the world, these types of incidents, like what's happening right now with the currency and everything, it doesn't last forever, y'all. It doesn't. This is a great opportunity for you to start building with companies right now in Niger. Because when the economy strengthens, I promise you, who are they going to turn to when they need to hire some work, right? When they need a creative professional, who are they going to look at? They're going to turn to you, because you were there when the economy was not doing well. When everybody was trying to hurry up and go find some foreign clients, you were still building connections right there at home. So this is especially true for those of you who said you want to stay, not Japa, but you want to stay. If you want to stay in Niger, this is the perfect opportunity for you to start building some great connections with businesses right there in Niger. So that way, when the economy turns around for the better, guess who they're going to be running to? You. And you can charge prime rates at that point, right? So don't sleep on the opportunity in your backyard. Do not. Now, again, this is not any discouragement from trying to get those American clients, because you still should pursue the American clients as well. But don't ignore the potential that lies right there in Niger. And I know sometimes it's hard to see that, because when you're there on the ground and you see how devastating things are, you get frustrated. And look, I'm gonna share a little bit about my story in just a minute. So trust me, I understand. In fact, I'm Japa. I want to leave the United States as we speak. So, the thing is, I know it gets frustrating when you're looking at the conditions right there on the ground, right? And you're seeing all this devastation, and you're seeing all of this corruption, and you're seeing all of this crazy stuff happening. You're like, I'm out of here. But I promise you that stuff doesn't last forever. So don't sleep on building connections with businesses right there in Niger, because when that economy turns around, you are going to be the dominating force when it comes to copywriting, web design, graphic design, whatever it is that you do. You're going to be the dominator in that industry in Niger. So don't sleep on that. All right. Now, I want to scale it back because I think it's important. Gideon did an amazing job of introducing me and things like that. But I do think it's important for me to share a bit more about my story, because no matter where you are on the planet, I tend to believe that everybody has gone through some form of trauma. So even with me being from the quote unquote richest country in the world, I have had my fair share of trauma, right? And I want to share some of this with you because I understand that everybody on this call has had some kind of trauma, right? And I just want to share my story as a way to perhaps encourage you and let you know that traumatic situations and circumstances do not define who you are at all. All right. So before I started, getting invited to do all of these cool podcast interviews, before I published my book, before I started splitting my time between Paris, France, and Mississippi, which is where I live in the United States, before I started doing all of this, my story starts right here where I'm at. I'm talking to you right now from my office in Mississippi. Now, it's funny because Gideon was like, hey, where are you in the US? And I was like, Mississippi. And he was like, wow, I thought you were in like Los Angeles or New York. And it's always funny to me because everybody who's not from the US always thinks about Los Angeles or New York because those are powerhouse cities, right? And a lot of us really cannot afford to live in those cities. It's just ridiculously expensive. But for me personally, I don't like those cities. They're just not my vibe. But I was raised right here in Mississippi. So that little red arrow is just me. I was raised in Mississippi, single family household. In fact, one very traumatic experience in my life is that, I don't know if you all are familiar with issues in the United States as it relates to Black men in particular, as it relates to the federal prison system and all of that. But my father has been in prison for 34 years. He got sentenced to 15 life sentences in the late 80s for selling drugs. And we can get into all of that later in terms of what led him down that path. But the reality is he's not a murderer. He didn't do any of that. He's not a gang member, any of that. But because of the racist system of justice, so-called justice here in the United States, my father has been serving a life sentence in prison. He's been in there for over 34 years now, right? So that was it still is a very traumatic experience for me in my life because, again, I was raised by my mother, a single parent. And, it was rough growing up, visiting your father in prison. It was a very traumatic experience, right? And even as an adult, I'm talking to you as a super grown woman right now. Even as an adult, this stuff still pains me the same way it did when I was 4 and 5 years old visiting my father in prison, right? It is a very ugly and traumatic experience, hands down, right? So now, of course, obviously, I'm still living through this trauma right here with my father being incarcerated. But as you all know, like I said, I believe everybody has had their fair share of trauma, no matter where you are in the world, right? Even in a rich country like the United States, we're all going through some kind of trauma, right? So life goes on. You still got to live your life despite all these very painful experiences that you're having. And for me, a highlight of my life is when I went to college. So I don't know if you all are familiar, but in the United States, because racism has been so prolific for so many years and still is to this day, there were a small group of schools that were formed. Some of them were formed actually during slavery, and they're called HBCUs, right? HBCU is an acronym that stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. So these are basically colleges that were built specifically for Black people because at the height of racism, or I'll just say at the height of a different racism, because racism has not gone anywhere. At the height of a different racism, Black people were not allowed to go to college with white people in America. So as a result, our ancestors built their own colleges And again, they're called HBCUs, which is short for historically Black colleges. I'm very fortunate in that I graduated from a historically Black college named Clark Atlanta University, right? So that's a picture of me with a little red arrow. And, I don't know who all is familiar with Black American culture as it relates to colleges and stuff like that, but we have sororities and things like that. And I pledged in the first Black sorority in the United States, right? It's the first and the oldest one. So went to the HBCU, like I shared with you all, August of 2024. It makes 20 years for me that, I have been writing copy, and it all started on the campus of my HBCU, on the campus of Clark Atlanta University. Now, I got my first real break when I was still in college. No, actually, I'm sorry. I had just graduated from college, and I landed an internship with a major company called the Home Depot. They specialize in selling like freightware, wood, saws, anything that you need to build things or fix things. That's what the Home Depot specializes in. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, right? So I interned for the Home Depot when I graduated from college that summer. And these two gentlemen on the screen are very famous. The gentleman on the left, his name is Tom Joyner. He was a radio on-air personality for, I think, at least 30 or 40 years. The gentleman on your right, which you all probably recognize more so than Tom Joyner, is Steve Harvey, comedian Steve Harvey, who has done tons of, he did a radio show. He's done movies. He's done books. He hosts game shows. He's just a powerhouse in media, right? So when I interned for the Home Depot, I was a marketing intern, and I wrote ad copy for the radio stations of these two gentlemen. And what happened is these two men recorded that copy that I wrote, and it aired on their radio stations. So at that time, these two men had a combined listenership of 16 million Black American listeners, right? So the commercial that I wrote the copy for was not only recorded by these two men who are giant media moguls in the US in particular, but also it was aired on their radio stations, and it reached 16 million people. So that was amazing, right? I was so thankful. I was like, wow, I've made it. Like, I just graduated from college. I've been doing this copywriting thing. I think I have finally found my area. Like, I'm killing it, right? Well, it didn't quite work like that. I had to float around for a little bit because when I graduated from college in 2008, the economy tanked and I could not find a job anywhere. So even though I had done all this cool stuff, wrote this radio ad copy for two major powerhouses in America, I finished the internship and that was it. No jobs. So I floated around literally for like 4 years, right? So as you can see here on the screen, in August of 2012, I'm noticing August is a very important month in my life. In August of 2012, I quit my job, right? Because I had been floating around. I had started working in human resources. I was interviewing people, extending offers, resending offers, looking at resumes all day. Then I bounced around to recruitment. Then I came back to marketing. And so this was my last job. I was fed up. I was like, you know what? I'm not meant to work for anybody. I know this. Let me go ahead and just take a bet on myself, right? And that's what I did. So in August of 2012, as you can see, I wrote this email to my boss, and I basically let her know, hey, it's a Debbie Downer, which if you've never heard that phrase before, it just means it's bad news. It's just another acute way of saying bad news. I have bad news. So I'm like, Debbie Downer, I want to talk to you in private this morning before the team meeting, if possible. And I basically just let her know, like, I'm going to quit, And so that's what happened. I turned in my resignation letter after I met with her that morning, and I never looked back. So I have literally been working independent of a company since 2012. Okay. Now, again, keep in mind, this is coming from somebody that was raised by a single parent whose father is serving life in prison, right? Life in prison And I stepped out and I just said, you know what? I believe in myself. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to make it happen. Right? I'm going to make it happen. So I took that bet on myself and it literally paid off. It paid off in a major way. Now, this happened 3 years after I quit my job. I started working with an individual, managing his brand and writing emails for him, right? So this was my first freelance client when I quit my job in 2012. We partnered on a business and we made $100,000 in 10 days. $100,000 in 10 days. And this came from literally writing emails. This is, and as you all know, like I said, this is what I do, right? I'm a copywriter and I specialize in email, but I write copy for everything. So $100,000 in 10 days. Once again, I am feeling like I'm on cloud 9, right? I'm pumped up. I'm like, wow, bro, I made it. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I finally broke the mold. I'm killing it. I'm the baddest in the industry. It's a wrap. Like, it's over with. You know, I'm about to just build on this. Like, I'm killing it, right? Well, another traumatic experience happened. And that traumatic experience is that I had to sue my business partners because despite the success with this business, they decided, oh, well, you didn't do anything. Now, mind you, I wrote the emails. I wrote the copy for the landing page. I took sales calls to get people in the program. I literally did every single thing, every aspect of this business. I took care of it, even down to the curriculum for the program. I let the person who I partnered with at the time come up with their own curriculum, but then they sent it to me for approval. I handled every aspect of this business. And the same individuals that I built this business with turned around and said, you know what? She did nothing and stole all my money. So all that hard work, all of that effort, all of that success went down the freaking drain, right? So here I am once again, like, wow, are you kidding me? I get so close to like the promised land, only to have somebody come and snatch it from under my feet, right? Very frustrating experience. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sharing this with you all because I want you to know, like I said, even in the richest country in the world, quote unquote, we all have our traumatic experiences. Everybody's going through some kind of trauma, right? But that trauma does not define who we are. That's just one little story in our chapter. We got many chapters to go. So I went through that, had to sue them. It was a nasty lawsuit. It was very public. It was awful. It was literally one of the worst experiences of my life, if I'm being honest. It was absolutely horrible. So go through the lawsuit. And I decided, you know what? There's no reason for me to be upset about this because I know what to do. I'm the key to this. See, that's why I said it's a difference between being arrogant and confident. I'm extremely confident in myself. I've done this before. Why am I tripping? Let them have that business. If y'all press like that, if y'all want to steal the money and do all that, cool. I'm going to sue you, right? Because that's illegal. You can't steal money from me. So I'm going to sue you. But I got to keep it moving. I can't let that stop me. I know what to do. Why would I let that stop me, right? So, all right, cool. I just took the same stuff that I learned over the years from working with the Home Depot as a marketing intern to still doing my freelance work to the 100K in 10 days business. I took all of those lessons and said, all right, you know what? I'm starting my own firm. Forget about the freelancer stuff. Forget about this partnership stuff. I'm doing my own thing. And that's what I did. So as Gideon read earlier, I started Management 24, and now we're branded as Opens, Clicks, Cash. And I use the same principles that I've used all throughout the years as it relates to getting clients, as it relates to making money with words. I use those same principles that I use all throughout the years to grow the business to 6+ figures But also, most importantly, you'll see I have two other logos up here. The one on the left is the retreat at Lake Noir. This is a real estate development firm out of Dallas, Texas, and it's a brand new development. And they came to us and said, hey, we need your help with marketing. We need some serious help. We're trying to raise a $500,000 in less than a year, and we need your help with our crowdfunding campaign. We did that for them, and we were able to help them raise over $500,000 in a matter of months, right? If you look at the logo on the far right, Traffic Sales and Profit, this is a very successful Black-owned business coaching program based out of Atlanta, and it's owned by a husband and wife. They came to me, they said, hey, we've seen your work. We've heard great things about you. We want to know if we can work with you and your team. I said, absolutely. And we were responsible for writing the copy for their homepage. Actually, we wrote the copy for their homepage, several of their landing pages. But the big win for us with them is we were able to roll out the email marketing for their two big conferences that they have every year. They have one in January and June of every year. They had never gotten 1,000 registrants, never. But last year, around this time, for the first time, after working with my team and I, they were able to get 1,000 registrants for their conference, right? And this is an 8-figure business, by the way. This is an 8-figure business, but they had never gotten 1,000 registrants, and we were able to do that for them. So you see what I mean about how we go through these traumatic experiences. No matter where you are in the world, we all have our fair share of trauma, but you cannot allow the trauma to define who you are, right? The trauma is just another chapter in your story. Your story is not over. It's far from over, okay? Far from over. So with that being said, that's enough about me, all right? I hope y'all can keep a secret because I done told y'all some things that I'm legally not even supposed to talk about, but we family on this call. It's all good. I trust y'all, all right? Yes, exactly. I'm looking at some of the comments. I am not the trauma. You are absolutely right. You are not your trauma. You are absolutely correct. We are not our trauma. I love that. I love that. So it's not about me, right? This is about you. This is about you. And I did get a couple of messages from people asking, how can they work with me, right? Like, if you're ready to land your rich American clients and you want to work with me in doing that, how can you do that? And the truth of the matter is, I talked to some associates. I literally just kept trying to think through, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do to add value, right? What can I do to accelerate you all's path? So I actually want to invite you to tell me, if you want to work with me, what does that look like for you, right? What does that look like for you? And I want to invite you to send an email to copycousin@joinocc.com and let me know, what does that look like for you? If you wanted to work with us, what do you need help with? Do you want us to help you with your portfolio? That was one thought I had. I was like, well, maybe I can walk through our portfolio, right? Or maybe, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say portfolio, proposals, my apology. So maybe you need help with your proposals, right? Maybe you want to send more high quality proposals to your potential clients. Maybe you need help with more professionalism, like you need a professional email address, right? Whatever you need help with, I want you to email that to us. This email address is linked to myself and my other two team members that you see on the screen. So all of us get it at the same time. I want you to send an email to us and let us know, how can we help you, right? And then what I will do in response to what you said is I will email you all back and let you know, hey, this is what we could do for you, okay? So you let me know what you need help with. And again, I did look at the survey results because it was about 90 responses when I looked this morning. I looked at the survey results. I did see that most of you are saying you need help or you wanted to learn how to acquire clients. I want you to tell me in the chat or give me a thumbs up. Do you feel like you have learned how to acquire clients after this call? Do you feel more confident in your ability to land American clients after this call? Could you please give me a thumbs up or just some kind of emoji or something so I can know that you feel more confident in your ability to get clients? You know what to do now. Okay, excellent. I see some thumbs. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Seriously. Thank you. Okay. Yes, well informed. Okay, excellent. Thank you all so much for the feedback. I appreciate it. So you got it, right? That's the blueprint. I gave you the blueprint. This is literally the stuff that I do. So, I mean, it's not made up. This is what we do. All right. This is how we get our clients. So it's not made up. I want to invite you once again, if you do want to work with myself and or my team, send that email over to us. Let us know how we can work with you and we'll figure something out. But in the interim, you have everything you need. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. You got everything you need to be successful. Everything you need is already here. I just gave you the blueprint. You got to get your mind right, right? You got to stop doubting yourself. You got to stop doubting yourself. You got this. I know you do. And you want me to look, the reason why I feel confident in saying you got this is because you're on the call. There were 300 plus people that registered, and I'm looking at the numbers now. We're at 66 here in the room, right? Success is not convenient. It's not convenient. But look at you all showing up. Y'all showed up. Everybody else is still at home eating or doing whatever they're doing. You showed up. So I'm 100% confident that you know what to do because you showed up. Most people did not show up, you all. They didn't show up, but you did. So you got this. You have this. I know you do. Get your mind right. You got to believe in you. You got to be confident in your ability, right? But I've already given you the blueprint. You good. You're good. I know y'all got this. You good. I believe in you. And I look forward to partnering with some of you as well. So don't hesitate to reach out on that note as well, because I'm really big on networking anyway. But somebody did ask, are we hiring copyright? So I want to open this portion up for question and answers, right? If you got some questions, please drop them in the chat. Or Gideon, how do you want to do it? Do we want to just let people ask the question or drop it in the chat?
Okay, so first of all, just to maintain order, before I even go straight to the questions, thank you so much, Maria. This has really been mind-boggling, like mind-changing. So if you have any questions, just to maintain order, you can put them in the chat box or raise your hand. Okay, raise your hand. Just put on that hand emoji just below your screen, and then you'll be given the opportunity to ask your question. So you can either put it in the comment box or raise your hand, and the floor will be given just to maintain order. And I hope everyone of us on this call asks 1 or 2 questions, because I mean, this is coming to you for free. All right, this is coming to you for free. There are a lot of people that will pay to have this opportunity, and we're getting this for free. So no grief for anybody. Ask your questions now, and pour your intentions out, pour your mind out, and Maria will do justice to it. So if you have questions, you can put them. Yeah, somebody's asking a question. So yeah, you can proceed to ask your questions. And I don't know if those whose hands are raised have questions. So I'll just be taking the one after the other. All right. So I think the first person whose hand is raised, if I'm not mistaken, is Okoro. The person I'm seeing on my chat here is Okoro. So I'm trying to see if I can unmute you so you can unmute yourself, Mr. Okoro, please, if you have a question to ask, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. While we attend to that, I think there are some questions in the chat box. So Maria, can you just do justice to that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to start with the first one. Am I hiring copywriters? And first of all, thank you so much for your question. At this time, I'm not hiring copywriters. I have a full-time copywriter, the young lady that is under me in the image below, or on the image on the screen, rather. She's our full-time copywriter. She's been managing all of our copy stuff as of now. And then, of course, I go in and help her from time to time. So at this point, I don't have a need for copywriters. But please don't let me stop your grind. Like, I definitely want to encourage you to keep putting yourself out there. I've already given you the 5 ways to do that. So don't give up. Just because I'm not hiring doesn't mean somebody else isn't hiring, right? So at this time, I'm not, but please don't stop. Like, keep asking that question. It's a great question. And just make sure that you got your portfolio ready. Just make sure you're ready so that when you do ask that question, if somebody says, well, yeah, let me see your work, you have something to give them. So thank you for your question, Jedi. I hope I said your name correctly. And first of all, you all, I want to apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. Please pardon my ignorance. It's not intentional. I really just I may not know how to pronounce your name, and I apologize in advance for that. Kingsley has a question. As a video editor and motion designer, can I get clients from the US? Of course, absolutely. Wait, so let me tell you something, Kingsley. There are so many small and medium-sized businesses that need people that edit video footage. You want to know why? Because content is currency. And they need somebody that can create really nice Instagram reels, really nice TikToks, right? So absolutely. To be honest, I think your skill set is probably, the one that is probably going to be the most profitable here, if I'm being honest, because everybody needs a video editor and a motion designer. Absolutely. Yes. Put yourself out there. I told you how to do it. Make it happen. You got this. Seriously. Everybody needs that. Like, I'm telling you, I know business owners that need somebody to edit their content. So yeah, you definitely can. Esther, I don't know if this is a question, more or less just a statement, but I want to thank you in advance for being honest and vulnerable. So Esther said, I am just starting out as a copywriter and I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start or what to do, considering or platforms to start with. So Esther, I don't know if you were here in the beginning of this call, but I did bring up the 2 main marketplaces for talent, Fiverr and Upwork, right? If you don't do anything else, go ahead and create your profiles on those 2 platforms, right? And then follow the 5 steps that I mentioned during the presentation, all right? So it's not enough to just have your profile up there, because everybody has like a lot of people have profiles on these platforms. You've got to still be interactive, go out here and do the work to get the clients, all right? So Esther, I totally understand where you're coming from in terms of feeling overwhelmed. I've been there 1,000 times. Just try to write down a plan, right? Write down your goals and then outline a plan for each goal. So that way you're just following a checklist. You're not trying to store all of this stuff in your mind. It's too much and you will get overwhelmed. Just write it down, write down the steps necessary to reach each goal, and then check it off the list as you go down, okay? Okay, Christiana. Okay, my pleasure. My pleasure, you all. Thank you so much for the kind remarks. Pikir, I hope I said your name correctly. I really want to learn how to be a good copywriter. How can I go about it, please? Okay, great question. So one way that you could do it is to write. I know that sounds funny, but I'm being honest. The best way to be good at copywriting is to write, and write every single day. You need to write every single day, right? And what you're writing essentially is, you could do this a couple of ways. Either you can write for someone for free or at a very, very low cost because you're trying to build your skills, or you can write as if you were working for somebody already and then use that as part of your portfolio. But what you want to do is make sure you're getting active feedback. See, this is why I said collaboration is key, because you want to have some people in your corner who are going to give you honest feedback and say, hey, you know what? That one is good. This one, it's not doing it for me. Okay. So definitely make sure that you're writing every single day. As copywriters, we do everything that there are 2 things that we do daily. We read and we write. We do this daily. That's how you become a phenomenal copywriter. You read and you write every single day. Okay. Danvik, what is your take about pitching startups? I mean, startups are it's a great niche to pitch to, honestly, startups. But just keep in mind, startups can be a bit shaky because their finances sometimes are locked up in investors, or, it's not stable. So just be a little cautious. But I mean, they need you, right? Startups need you because those owners of the startup, they don't have the time or the capacity to try to work on the marketing, the copy. They don't have time for that. So I think it's a great opportunity, to be honest with you. All right. Thank you all so much for the compliments. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. So Orioloa, I'm so sorry. I know I probably butchered your name. I'm so sorry. I would love to work with you. Do you have any vacancy for graphic designer? Hmm. You know what? I probably could use you. I could definitely use your help. If you could, please send an email to that email address here, copycousin@joinocc. I would really appreciate that. Um, the short answer to the question is maybe, because we have some graphic templates that we use and we just fill in the information. But yeah, I might need your help. So please send an email to that email address on the screen. Thank you for that. Abisola. I know you said you are not hiring copywriters, but can one intern with your firm? It doesn't have to be a paid internship. If not, could you please recommend those we can intern with just to be a better copywriter? Excellent question. Excellent question. So on my end, I did say I was going to take on a couple of interns this year. I have not prioritized it yet, but if you will, please send an email to this email address on the screen. I will definitely take a look. And I'll get back to you for sure. If I don't get back to you, my team member will. So thank you for that. And that's a great question. It's a great approach, honestly. Alicia, my question: in my previous research into freelancing, I've learned that niching down a starting freelancer is not a very good idea. Oh, is it great to niche down or place your hands all over the place as a starting freelancer? I'm gonna be honest. I think, and I would be curious to know, where did you find this information where it said it's not good to niche down? It is absolutely good to niche down. Like I said in the beginning, this is where I erred. I didn't have a niche. I started as a generalist. In fact, technically today I'm still a generalist, which I'm gonna have to change that, because where I'm planning to take my business this year, I'm gonna have to niche down. So I'm gonna respectfully disagree and say, no, you absolutely want to niche down because you want to become the subject matter expert in that respective niche. So, okay, I see. So you're not new to copywriting. Okay, so yeah, you just have to get active on finding clients and stuff. But yeah, niche down, please. That's my strong opinion. Mogbo Jury, I want to work with you. Okay. If you could send an email to that copy cousin, I'll make sure that myself and or my team member gets back to you. Grace, how does one, okay, this is a really good question. Knowing a particular niche to focus on has been difficult. How does one narrow down? Could example on how to find these associations one could join to add value and showcase one's skills. Okay, finding a niche, great question. I'll be honest with you, it's probably one of the most important things that you could do as a freelancer, right? There is an author, I thought I had the book with me. I don't, I remember I left it at home this morning. I want y'all to write this down. There is a book titled Choose by Ryan Levesque. And I'm going to put it in the chat. Choose by Ryan Levesque. He does an amazing job of helping you narrow down on your niche. And in fact, he does such a great job of doing that I'm rereading the book as we speak, because I need to lock in on a niche this year. So I highly recommend looking at his model and his approach to finding a niche. And then you said, how could you find these associations? Honestly, just Google it. So when you do discover your niche, Grace, what you can do is say, let's say your niche is cosmetologist, right? you can then just Google search associations for cosmetologists US if you want to stick with US clients, right? I promise you, every established industry has an association or two or three or four, right? Real estate has an association. Cosmetologists has an association. Entrepreneurs have an association. They're called the Chambers of Commerce. Attorneys have an associate. Every industry has an association, unless it's brand new, and even those still have an association sometimes. So I would just literally Google search the name of your niche and then associations. All right. So George, what I have not done anything for my niche. What do I do? What do I use to brag? Okay, great question, George. If you've not done anything in your niche, then this goes back to what I said earlier. It's time for you to start writing as if you have clients already, so that you could build your confidence, so that you could build your portfolio, and or go ahead and just write, like go ahead and ask a company if you could do it for free and or at a very low price to build your portfolio. So George, that's how you could do that. My pleasure, Esther. Jesse. Sure. Jesse asks, do you think LinkedIn is a perfect platform to focus on to land jobs? Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me tell you all this. Any platform you give your attention to is a great platform to find gigs. If you want to give your attention to LinkedIn, then you'll find gigs on LinkedIn. If you want to give your attention to Facebook, you'll find gigs on Facebook. Anywhere where people are congregating, and more specifically where your niche is congregating, is a great place to find leads, right? So you just got to show up. Literally, you just got to show up. You got to show up. You got to show up consistently. You got to deliver value. You got to show up. Gift. Yes, Gift. Gideon will provide information on how to get the recording. So yes, there is a way to do that. Philip. I specialize in research and academic writing. How can I get American clients for this skill? I mean, I don't know a lot about that industry, Philip, even though I used to work in academia. It's been years now, but I can tell you that, I mean, research, I think every serious industry needs some sort of research. I would just kind of research, ironically, I would research this and see if there are like research incubators or something that you could possibly work for in the US. Again, I'm sorry, I don't really know a lot about that space, but I mean, I would imagine that there are some sort of associations for research and academic writing. There has to be. I'm sure that there are. I used to work in academia, and I know that we had certain conferences and things that we had to go to. So I would just start there. But honestly, I don't know specifically as it relates to research and academic writing for academia. I'm not sure how that works. Emmanuel, as an email marketing copywriter, is it cool to go into funnel designing? Yeah. So Emmanuel wants to know, is it cool to go into funnel designing as an email marketing copywriter? It won't hurt. It won't hurt. I mean, those are complementing skills in my opinion. So I say go for it. Osaru, how do you get American clients as a web designer trying to use LinkedIn, but it appears it isn't working? Well, I brought up the two platforms earlier, Fiverr and Upwork. So I would definitely start there. And again, your issue may not be that LinkedIn isn't working. Remember, millions of people are on LinkedIn. Your audience is on LinkedIn. It may be your approach, right? So I want you to think about those five tips that I gave about how to land those American clients. Implement those and try again if you want to stick to LinkedIn. Okay. All right. And I do see that there are a couple of hands raised. Like I see Jesse's hand, I see Israel's hand. So I want to ask Jesse, let's start with you. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Jesse? Or do we have more than one Jesse? I only see one. Jesse Anadib? So sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Yeah, Jesse Anadib. Please, can you ask your question? Yes, please. I think you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hands are raised.
You have to unmute yourself, though. Okay. While Jesse sorts it out, let's go to Isra. Mr. Malik, are you still here? I saw his hand raised. No? Okay. I'll go back to the chat then. I see Kingsley. Yeah, send me an email, Kingsley. Send me an email. Shakika, do you offer internships? Again, send me an email as it relates to the internship question. Sadiq. So this is the brilliant gentleman who designed my book cover. So shout out to Sadiq. Niching down has really helped me in this industry as a graphics designer. Yep, book cover designer. You're awesome. You're amazing. Seriously. My pleasure. Thank you all so much for the compliments. Okay, Damvik, when someone wants to niche down to say maybe e-commerce brand, how do you go about it considering the fact that e-commerce is broad? I agree. You just have to decide. That's why I wrote that book titled Choose by Ryan Levesque. You've got to decide what you want to do. If you're interested in supplements, if you are interested in pet care, I would just start with where your interest lies first. But you're right, e-com is very broad. You do still need to niche down. So just figure out which of those industries you want to niche down into. And I mean, honestly, there's no wrong answer so long as money is being made, right? Okay. Excellent. All right. All right. Helen, as a newbie in copywriting, do you think it's easier to land jobs with personal brands or with marketing agencies? Oh, that's a great question. Well, that's a really good question. I don't know. So on one hand, on the personal brand side, I'm thinking, well, they might want to work with you because they can't really afford, they may not be able to afford someone who is senior, right? But then on the other hand, because they're cash strapped, they also may want to hire someone who's senior because they can't afford any mistakes. With the marketing agency, they may have more room to try to groom and grow someone in their role. But then they may also be a bit impatient depending on the client demands. So, honestly, Helen, I don't really have strong opinions one way or the other. I just say you choose what you think will work best for you and just run with it and don't give up. Yes, focus on your platform and give it 120%. Exactly. Thank you for the push. My pleasure. Alicia, if I'm planning on building my portfolio by offering my services for free or at a low cost, would it be wise to give away the fact that I'm looking to build? Great question. So be honest with people and say, hey, I am interested in building my portfolio in this space. And as a result, I would like to do some free work for you or at very low cost. Just be honest. Just be honest, because the reason why you want to be honest with this and be transparent is you want to ask them, can you use them as a testimonial if you do a great job, right? So while you're building your portfolio, you also need to build up your database of testimonials. So don't be shy about asking for, some feedback and asking them, can I use your picture or can I use your name and the name of your company in my testimonials? So just be honest. Just tell them, hey, I'm looking to build my portfolio. And as a result, I'm willing to do this for you for free or little to no cost. Is it okay if I do this? And if I do, and I do a great job, would you please give me a testimonial? Ankara Styles. I'm just starting on copywriting. I like email copy. Good. Frankly, writing long sales pages or landing page feels boring. Do I need to learn those or simply get started with email? No, you can get started with email, but understand email can be long form too. On average, my team and we're writing about 700 words via email, right? Some of our emails are short, but a lot of them are long. So it just depends on who you're working for. If you're working with an e-com brand, your emails will mostly be images anyway. But yeah, I would just say you don't have to write sales pages and landing pages. If you want to be known just for email, just be known for email. All right. And then Oluyami, hope I said your name correctly. I have 2 questions. Can you or your team help review or critique my copy? Do you know how I can register my business in the US? Okay, first question, critique or review your copy. I'll be honest, I don't know if we have the capacity to do that. But if you haven't joined our Facebook group already, the Facebook group is called Opens, Clicks, Cash. Then I'll put that in the chat. Facebook group, Opens, Clicks, Cash. Let me grab the link. What I would suggest is that you put your copy in there and ask people for feedback. I've had several folks do that in the group. So now my screen is freezing. Okay, so now what happened? Okay, there we are. Okay. All right, sorry. My screen froze on me. I'll just put the name of the Facebook group here. All right, Opens, Clicks, Cash. Opens, Clicks, Cash. The second part of your question, how do you register business in the USA? So I would recommend going through a company called LegalZoom.com. But you may want to check and see if it's advantageous for you to do that. It may not make sense to do that, but because you have to pay taxes and stuff. So I wouldn't get wrapped up in that so soon, to be honest with you, unless you plan to move here or something soon. But I would look at LegalZoom.com and use that as your reference to build a business to register a business in the US. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about it. It can get very expensive. Donvik, direct pitch or rapport building on LinkedIn, which do you think would get one clients faster? Well, building a rapport takes time. But once the rapport has been built, your likelihood of getting clients are very quickly. It's very quick, honestly. So I'm going to lean more towards rapport building, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's fast, right? This kind of stuff takes time. You got to build a connection with the person. You got to get to know them. You got to figure out how you can, help them. What value can you add to their lives? So I know you want to get clients fast. If you want to get clients fast, I mean, you may have to just run ads and like literally say, hey, I'm a copywriter or whatever, your skill is, and I'm openly taking clients right now. Like, I'm open to clients. That may be your best bet, but otherwise, honestly, yeah, I don't know. I would say rapport building is always better when you're trying to get clients, but unfortunately, it's not the fastest thing to do. So, okay, what's your take on pitching in the connection request on LinkedIn? Personally, I don't like when people do that to me. I'm just being honest. I usually, I'll respond to the email just because I'm a professional. I want to respond, but I don't like it. And to date, I have not worked with anyone who has pitched to me in the connection request on LinkedIn. Now, that's just me. Maybe it works for somebody, but for me, it's a turnoff. I don't like it because you haven't built a rapport with me to pitch to me. How are you pitching to me? I don't know what my needs are yet, right? So I don't like it, to be honest. I don't like it. Jesse, did you figure out the unmute situation? Because I see you picked up the phone, but you're still muted on this end. I think Jesse is still trying to figure out how to unmute. Jesse, you might want to drop your question in the chat. I do want to answer your question because I know you've been patiently waiting for a while. Kingsley, do you know how to unmute while we're waiting on Jesse? Because your hand is raised on my end. So, Kingsley, if you want to unmute, please feel free to do so. Okay. I don't see Kingsley anymore. So I'm assuming I've answered all the questions with the exception of Jesse. Jesse, can you drop your question in the chat? Okay, perfect, Kingsley. All right, perfect. My pleasure. Obi, thank you. My pleasure. Jesse, could you drop your question in the chat, please, if you can't unmute yourself? And while we're waiting on Jesse, Gideon, is there anything else you wanted to say? I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
All right. Wow. Can we just take a moment to appreciate Maria, please? You can use the emoji, the chat, the clapping emoji. It's not easy. I mean, we've been here for an hour and 33 minutes, and it's you can't just get people, I mean, to do this for us on a daily, and for taking a time out to okay, so I think Jesse is asking a question. So yeah, says how do you face rejection of clients? Did I get that right?
Oh, nice. Okay, this is a good question. How does one handle rejection from clients? Really great question, Jesse. So honestly, the best way to handle rejection is just to thank them for their time and consideration and keep it moving. Honestly, you will be rejected. And that's where your confidence really plays in, right? Because, and I'll be fully transparent. Last year was the first year I had been rejected by so many prospects. I mean, like that had never happened. Last year was just a crazy year for me in business. It was really chaotic. And every prospect that I pursued was like, they would just ghost me. We'll have this great conversation. And then when it was time to like move forward with a meeting and a proposal, they disappeared. They stopped answering my questions. They stopped responding to emails. And I'm telling you, that happened over and over and over and over last year. I don't know what happened last year, but it was a good year for me. And so, that kind of stuff, if you're not careful, that kind of stuff can really mess with your self-esteem. And it'll make you doubt yourself and question, what are you doing wrong? And so to that end, I would just say you have to keep going. You will be rejected. People will say no to you. People will say they can't afford you. People will say you're not a good fit. That's okay. Just take the feedback and make changes if necessary and keep it moving. So rejection is going to happen. It's just a part of life. Even if you weren't in this industry, Jesse, you'll be getting rejected somewhere else, right? If you were working for a company and you were trying to get a promotion, you may get rejected there. So rejection is just a part of life. Just take the lesson, take the feedback if they offer it, make some adjustments, and keep going. That was a really great question.
All right.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you all. I was just reading the comments. Thank you all so much. Israel. Okay, Israel. Okay, my question is, if I'm an email copywriter, what will I say to the client? What type of email will write for you? Okay, so that is based on what you see as their need, right? Every business needs to sell something. So I would start with a sales email, right? With a sales campaign, because every business needs to sell something. If the client says that they don't necessarily need a sales email or a sales campaign, then you can start with a retention campaign. You can start with a feedback campaign. I have like 9 of them that I go to. Welcome sequence. I can't remember all 9 on the top of my head, but welcome sequence, feedback sequence, sales sequence, retention sequence, abandoned cart sequence, and I'm missing 4. Top of mind sequence, like a newsletter. Now I'm missing 3. I can't remember the other 3, but Honestly, you just have to communicate with the client and see what their needs are and adjust accordingly. But I could tell you, you can't go wrong with a sales email. If you're trying to pitch a client and you want to tell them, hey, I'm an email marketer, and I want to write emails for your company, start with a sales campaign because they need money. So, Prince, could you mute yourself? I hear some dishes rattling over there. You cooking for me? Prince, you cooking over there? I hope you make it for me.
I
Prince,
guess
you're rattling
yes.
some dishes.
All right. Okay, please mute yourself, Prince.
All right. So
So
go ahead, Gideon. I'm sorry.
yeah, all right. So I think that's the amount of questions we have been able to exhaust this afternoon, evening. So like I just want to add one or two things to um, what we've been saying so far. So first of all, thank you, Mario, for doing this. I know it takes a lot of time. You're a very busy person. I know that for sure. And taking your time to do this is really, really commendable. We really appreciate you. And in Nigeria, in Yoruba, actually, we say eshe. All right. you know, yeah, we say, we are from different tribes, different cultures, and then, over here we say, Eshe, thank you so much. And I just really want to emphasize on one or two things Maria mentioned in the course of this webinar. She said something, and I want us to maximize on that this 2024, okay? So she said one thing that stood out for me, which is what? Be big on collaborating with American professionals. All right. So whatever you want to do, Upwork, Fiverr, you're pitching on Upwork, you're pitching on Fiverr. You see, it is not always advisable you put all your eggs in one basket. It is advisable you diversify. So as much as you are pitching on Upwork, as much as you are pitching on Fiverr, okay, learn to build solidifying relationship with American professionals. As we say in Nigeria here, your network is your net worth. All right. We are in Nigeria now. Maria mentioned the stats. The Naira to USD exchange rates. Okay. That from our end here, if you check the black market rates, you can see that the Naira is above 1,000. Okay. I mean, the dollar is above 1,000 years. So imagine you working with a client and then the client pays you $100. That's over 100,000 Naira here, which is good money. Yes. So be big on leveraging global opportunities. All right. If there's anything you want to take out from this session today, be big. I want you to go, if you have a LinkedIn account and your LinkedIn account is dry, okay, I want you to go and dust the cobwebs there, all right? I want you to go and start leveraging global opportunities because these guys are ready to hire us. They're ready to hire you. They are ready to hire me, but you are not relating with them, okay? You're not relating with them. For those of you that follow me on my WhatsApp story, I used to share stories, pictures, slides of people that I get on calls with, okay? So the money is there. The money is waiting for you. Okay, it is your duty to start leveraging. Okay, some of you that Maria asked to send your emails. Okay, don't relent. Okay, build relationships, network. All right. Thank you so much, George. Network. Make sure you do that. It's a global game. Okay, so make sure you are always networking. Make sure you're always pitching right. And I think Maya did it, but I want to say this also. Maya, could you please share a link to your newsletter? For email marketers and email copywriters, okay, that want to get subscribed to read your newsletter. Link to your and then your YouTube handles also. Maya does this weekly YouTube reels. Not reels. YouTube content she uploads on a YouTube channel every week. How many times in a week, Maria? Is it once or twice?
Now we do 4 times a week. We do 2 small clips on Tuesday, Thursday, like 10-second clips, and then full-length videos on Wednesday and Friday.
Awesome. So guys, I want you to follow her on YouTube. Like, search for Maria Lloyd on YouTube. I'm typing that. You don't need and like literally sleep on a channel, okay? Literally sleep on a channel. And then put on the notifications. So as much as you are following her, yeah, okay. A YouTube channel is the words are wealth. You can follow and then turn on notifications. You can go through a content, they are blowing, like really mind blowing. So do that. We're on Facebook, Maria Lloyd. If you're on LinkedIn, for LinkedIn people like us, you can, follow on LinkedIn, connect with her, send a connection request, and then just feel free. Feel free to engage with her. And yeah, that's it. So I really want to thank every one of you. I really want to thank you all. Thank you so much, Maria, for we are almost at the 2-hour mark, and it's I know with the code and the flu and everything for doing this with us. Thank you so much for everyone joining around the world. Israel, Malik, thank you so much, all the way from Pakistan. I mean, this was supposed to be like a Nigerian, thing. Israel, thank you. We also have other people from around the world. Okay, so great news. Okay, let me just chip this in. So this video or this webinar was actually recorded. So I think I saw 1 or 2 people asking for the recording. So this webinar is actually recorded, and the recording will be available. So I'll communicate that further in the WhatsApp group. So thank you everyone for joining in. For those that stayed to the end, for those that probably due to one thing or the other, they couldn't stay to the end, thank you again. And we'll be doing this some other time. Come on, Maya is always in the group. Maya is always so you can always send a connection request even on WhatsApp. All right, it's great. Okay, yeah, are we free to network with you on the WhatsApp, Maria?
Yeah, that's fine. Just know I get a lot of calls and messages every day. So if I don't get right back to you, just know, email is best because I have a team that can help me manage it. But yeah, you can connect with me for sure in a group, and yeah, we'll go from there for sure.
Awesome. All right. So you can message her, just say thank you, Maria, for today, and things like that. We're going to be doing this again. Maria would be very much available in the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming months to hop on a call with us, just to check how we are doing. And one thing I would say, just in conclusion, is that whatever we've learned here today, implementation is key. Implementation is key. All right. As we say in Nigeria, there's this slang that came out when we started the year. It says no grief for anybody. So that's a way of saying, like, damn the consequences, okay? just take it all out. Do it or go all out. Go all out. So it's you just have to implement whatever she said. If you have not been pitching clients right now, I want you to go and dust your Upwork profile, your Fiverr profile, and start doing it. Facebook, everything, okay? It will help you, okay? In this day and age, it is always great to earn in other currencies apart from the Naira, apart from whatever currencies you are learning from. So please, implementation is very key. So make sure you are implementing, all right? So I think, Maria, do you have any last words for us, probably?
No, I mean, honestly, Gideon, again, thank you so much for organizing this. As you said, implementation is key. You all have the blueprint. So as I shared with you earlier, I'm 100% confident. I'm 100% confident that everybody on this call is going to succeed by the sheer fact that you showed up. Okay. You showed up. There were over 300 people that registered, but only you showed up. So all you've got to do now is follow the blueprint. You know what to do. Just do it. Just do it. And then come back and tell me and Gideon how it's going. Don't forget to ask any questions, feedback, all of that is fine. Again, I'm one person, so bear with me if I take a while to get back to you. But okay, Tony said he's still unable to get the slides.
Yeah, the slides, I think it was processed.
I may have to you know what I'm going to do, Gideon? I'm going to have to include the link to the slides. I'll do it in the group. So I'll post it in the group as well. Right. I don't know why it's not working, but I will do that.
All right, no problem. Okay.
Yeah, I'll post it in the group.
Yeah, thank you
So
so
my
much.
apologies to you all for the, I don't know why it's acting up, but I'll make sure you get the slides for sure. I'll make sure you get them.
All right. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. For out of the 300 plus people that registered, you are here and you made it to the end. So thank you. Further communications will be made in the group. So don't just exit the group yet. Don't just exit the group yet. The recordings will be made available. And I believe you've subscribed to Mario's newsletter. So make sure you do that if you haven't, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow on Facebook, follow everywhere. All right, follow everywhere. Okay, so thank you, everyone. It's nice to see your faces. It's nice doing this with you. Trust me, more of this is going to come. More of this. We are going to bring other experts also. We will be bringing people from around the world to share their secrets and their success with us. All right, so thank you, and yeah, we'll see each other in the group. Okay, so make sure you enjoy the rest of your day. For those of us in the evening, make sure you enjoy the rest of your night. And don't forget implementation, implementation, implementation. All right, so we'll see you guys in the group. Thank you, and thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
bye,
you.
Bye.
bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you
you
very
for your
much.
time and attention.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you, Maria.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. God bless you.
Blessings to you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you. God bless you.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Oh, my name's Ann Maria.
Maria,
Thank
yeah,
you, Maria.
yeah.
Okay, Gideon, do you have a moment to speak?
Yeah, please.
Okay, can I call you?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, I'll call you in just a minute. Let me I need to try to blow my nose or something. I'm so
sure.
stopped up. And then I'll call you right after.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so
Okay.
much,
All
ma'am.
right.
Yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right.